Oh, yeah. Are you okay? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the iTunes Family Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Macker from the iTunes Fanboy.
I'm TabbyCat406.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf.
And as always, we are excited to bring you back with some new tech topics, but just a quick disclaimer beforehand is that in case my voice sounds a little off as of this recording, I do have a cold as of recording this podcast, and my voice might be a little off. This cold is pretty gross, but it doesn't seem like it's too bad, so I'll probably would have recovered from it by the time this podcast actually releases.
Yeah, last week when
I think everyone's gotten used to it.
Last week when I was recording, I was actually pretty sick. I don't think I said it, but I actually was pretty sick that whole week.
I wanted to say you didn't sound like usual when I was editing the whole show.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was kind of noticeable in my new video, and I had to kind of redo a lot of stuff because of that. But well, I guess that would be the iBook video. Well, I might do another iBook video tomorrow, but the first iBook video, the 14-inch. But yeah. Besides that, what kind of topics do we have today?
Okay, so our first topic is going to be the new iMac.
Okay. It's kind of stupid. That's my opinion. Well, what about you guys? Because I have a very specific reason for not liking it. How about you guys?
What is
you guys
it?
like it or what's up? They don't have the M3 Pro option. Why would the Mac?
Yes,
fully agree with you right there.
Why would the Mac?
That is dumb.
Yeah, the Mac Mini is a cheaper computer, a lower end computer, designed for people to get into the Mac. And that has M3 Pro and M3 Max, right? That has M3 Max?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Okay.
No, the studio has M3 Max.
Yeah, but the Mac Mini at this point, in every situation except for the display, is better than the iMac. Because M3, I don't know how M2 and M3 are, but M1, base M1, wasn't quick enough for me. I had to do M1 Pro. And the iMac could easily do that. Imagine just being able to have an all-in-one with the M1 Pro. Or no, M3 Pro.
That would be awesome.
They had the perfect chance to make the iMac perfect. Because back in the day, for a little while, there was the i3 iMac. Then there's the i5 iMac that was out from 2011 through 2020. Then there's also the i7 version. So why isn't it the fact? Why can't we get M3 and M3 Pro?
And then they also had an i9 in that too.
And then it's the best opportunity for them to make a black iMac, darked out, right?
Oh.
And call it the iMac Pro. Give us a bigger display, and give us M3 Max, and I guess maybe M3 Ultra. M2 Ultra is on the Mac Pro though, right? And maybe the Studio.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Ultra is in the Pro and the Studio, yes. Only in those two Macs.
They could have made another huge jump with the iMac Pro by putting Apple Silicon in it, because that would make a lot of sense for a lot of people to buy. Because right now,
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm saying this
just
right
think
now.
of the packaging.
Yeah, just think of how nice that computer would be. Space black. They love space black now. They can put that on the iMac. And I'm saying this right now. If that product existed when I bought the Mac Studio and the Studio Display, because I did buy them separately, I used the Studio Display for 2 months or so with my MacBook Pro, I would have done the iMac, hands down, because the iMac is overall an easier to maintain, just better product, because I have 2 cables running down from my desk to power this thing. I have a Thunderbolt cable going through. I have all these cables. With the iMac, there's an iMac upstairs in the living room. It has 1 cable on it. Well, 2. It has the power cable and a lightning cable for charging the iPhone. Because, everybody uses iPhones here. So...
Yeah. Well, and also the mouse and the keyboard.
Yeah, but I don't know how often those have to be charged. But somehow, everybody knows how to charge those. Which surprised me. I was expecting to be asked how to charge the mouse and keyboard. Because it's not all that obvious where the charger on the mouse is, unless you like know exactly what a lightning port looks like. But yeah, back to my point. The iMac 2023 could have outsold, it could have outsold everything, because professionals kind of tend to prefer desktops, which is why, you know, you see a lot of those like older Mac Pros and Mac Minis, but they didn't. In that, there's so much potential that just was thrown away. Because I was talking to one of my friends when the event happened, I said, if M3 Pro comes to the iMac, this might be a potential, you know, replacement for my Mac Studio. Because I could make the Studio display into a second display. Have two amazing screens. But it's truly so annoying how they handled that. But
yeah, it drives me nuts because, I mean, especially when the iMac Pro was the most professional machine you could buy in the lineup back in end of 2017, 2018.
Yeah, it was discontinued right before or after the iMac or the Mac Studio.
The thing was, the package was so good, and I love bringing this up. Linus Tech Tips, he may hate the operating system, not because it's bad, it's not what he prefers, but there's something that he always brings up, and he's always fair about it. Apple charges market rates for the hardware. And what hardware are you getting that with that machine? You're getting super professional high-end specs, high-end port selection, really insane high-end display that
one of the best
you're not going to find cheaper standalone.
Yeah, and I want to add this in. Your thing about the ports is more than correct, because I have not been able to find a lot of desktops or all-in-ones that have multiple USB-C ports. I don't see them. That's true. Every desktop, because I used to be a PC guy. I used to have a MacBook and a PC. Every motherboard I've ever owned has had one USB-C and what has to be like 5, 6, 7 USB-As. Why?
It drives me nuts that still, and the market for motherboards today, I've even still looked at it because I thought about building my own custom server. But I still look at the market today, and all of those motherboards, I've never seen more than one Type-C port on them.
Yeah, I know.
Never more than one.
I know, like, one that has two. But also, another thing is, one USB-C can replace every other port on the computer besides, like, power. Because USB-C can do audio, video, data. It can do some power. Of course, it can only do, 240, 300 watts of power, but still.
Well, that's enough for Apple's chips,
right?
Because they're so freaking power efficient.
You know, Apple could run the iMac off of USB-C, I bet. Because the iMac,
they probably could.
They actually revealed the power supply specs, and it's like 162 watts or something, 182.
Yeah, they could power the whole thing via a USB-C cable.
Yeah, it's.
They probably don't even need to make their own custom engineered solution like they did to integrate Ethernet through it, because we all know that with Thunderbolt we get Ethernet capabilities.
Yeah.
How do you think my Mac gets hooked up to my network?
Yeah, because Thunderbolt and USB-C is so good, because no more Ethernet. I don't need, I'm using USB-C earpods, whatever Apple calls them now. But also, here's the thing about the USB-C iMac, though. It's such a cool innovation if they did that. But I think they're still doing it the right way right now, because technically it wouldn't be that convenient. And also, that MagSafe connector, it's cool. I'm not going to lie. It is something that every time I see it and I mess with it, it's cool to see, Did you know it's also keyed? What do you mean?
Because it's also doing data because of the Ethernet pass-through. It has to go in a certain way. So when you actually bring it up close, the magnets will rotate it to where it needs to be positioned before it snaps in.
It's such a cool concept. And my parents' iMac, it has the Ethernet jack thing on the little power adapter because it's a 512 gig model. And of course there's no Ethernet in that room, but it's so cool just to see the fact that's possible. Because imagine that on the studio display. You get it really thin, you put the, external power adapter, and they give us a little dock, a little hub even.
I'm a bit surprised they didn't allow us to run Ethernet through there like that.
Yeah.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah, 'cause
and so
honestly-
convenient. Like, most people would buy the studio display, I think, would be MacBook users who want to dock their MacBooks to it.
Right.
Then you get direct hardwire Ethernet, no need to plug in a separate cable.
Yeah. I'm surprised Apple doesn't make like a dock, like a whole dock, where you plug in one thing.
I'm shocked too.
And everything connects.
So
you get a couple USB-Cs, you get some USB 3, well, USB-A, whatever. You get like Ethernet, you get HDMI, maybe even DisplayPort. Because Apple has neglected DisplayPort, which, yeah, USB-C is better, pretty much. But
Or what if they just made? What if they just made one dock with all USB-Cs?
that would just be like the hub on the MacBook, like the USB-C ports on it.
Yeah, there's just so much potential with this thing, and I forgot to bring this up in my whole recap video, but yeah, it drives me nuts that right now they're treating the iMac as average Joe's home computer.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to sell a lot of that. You know, every iMac that I've ever owned hasn't been satisfactory for me besides my 2013 because I need more power. So that is where it comes in, where that M3 Pro could be, it can open up a whole new user base, almost, of people who need a kind of home computer but also want to do some, some video editing. Some 4K 60 video editing, which I gotta admit, my M1 couldn't do that with my 12 Pro or 13 Pro footage. It just...
You know what I
well.
realized about the new M3 iMac?
What's up?
Well, I have a few things to say about it. Well, I like the overall iMac, but again, it's just not powerful enough. Like, even one of my friends was talking about...
M3 is only like 20% more powerful than M1, right? Maybe 40%? Something like that?
Yeah.
I don't remember the difference.
It's not that much.
It's something like minor. Something in those numbers.
And one of my friends was talking about it, and he said that he'd much rather have a Mac Mini compared to an iMac.
I would too, honestly. I hate to say it, but I would.
Yeah?
Because the other thing with the Mac Mini, it's modular. When your CPU's getting old, keep your, buy a nice display, keep the display, swap out the main unit, it's just like that.
It is sort of modular in that extent. The Mac Mini is sort of modular in that extent, but the iMac is not. The iMac can't remain like an average Joe home computer because here's the problem. This is not 1997 we're talking about when a lot of average Joes were just getting involved into the home computer market and just wanted a basic computer for the home to see what the internet could do, dial-up internet could do and all that. This is 2023 when most people almost 2024 when most people at this point can do everything on their phones and laptops, so it's not right. So an average Joe home computer isn't going to keep Apple afloat, which is really sad because the iMac was the computer that saved Apple.
There's a reason why Apple didn't update the iMac for, they didn't do a 2019 iMac, I don't think, right? No,
they did.
They did. They did,
I thought they did it in August or something.
I think it was March 2019.
But then after that, it was 2020, and after that, Apple didn't update the iMac enough because they had no reason to. People don't care about specs on the iMac, and I hate the fact that Apple's taking that approach because there's a potential with this. I don't know. It's just so annoying to me how Apple decides to handle this stuff and how Apple doesn't they don't just let people spec it out to their want,
Yeah, they get so hyper-focused in a very specific demographic and completely ignore the rest. I hate how they've been doing that now. Yeah. I thought back in 2019 when they released the 11 series, that was them branching out to multiple demographics. But
yeah, it really was.
No, clearly they've shown the complete opposite.
The Mac Pro is a special The Mac Pro is a perfect example of that.
Should we
Or the
talk
new
about the other
2023.
issue? Should we talk about the other issue with the iMac? The other performance-related issue that's going to end up killing these computers early on?
What is it?
Performance issue. What could that be?
8 gigabytes of RAM. Seriously? 8
That-
gigabytes of RAM. My mid-2013 iMac, I believe, had a base of 8. Why are we still on 8 gigabytes of RAM 10 years later?
8 gigabytes of RAM is okay if you're just going to use like a Chromebook for maybe documents or word processing. You're basically
But
doing
here's the
everything
thing.
like an iPad can do.
See, we're power users or close to power users. We know when to close our tabs to save performance. Average users don't close their tabs unless they are shutting their computer down most of the time. I've walked in on that iMac with like 50 tabs open, and that thing is slow as can be. That thing has to be restarted because of that. And every time I've used it, just to do very light like 4K 30 editing, I've ran out of RAM. I've like 8 gigs
I
of
think
RAM
the
is not
issue
enough.
is, I think the issue with that is, Apple's probably assuming everyone's going to use Safari, which is much more RAM efficient than Chrome,
It's more RAM
and
efficient,
yet most
but,
people use Chrome.
but yeah, the iMac doesn't even have Chrome on it. The iMac upstairs is always using Safari. It lags out. And Apple doesn't, Apple has showed that they don't care about going, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. They've went to 18 gigs of RAM on other ones. Why can't we get 12 gigs of RAM on the iMac? Just give us like a quick,
Wait,
what, like 6 more? Or 12?
can you upgrade the RAM in the iMac or not?
Nope.
What? I'm pretty
Well,
sure
you can
older
spec it with
iMacs have more.
You can
Old
you can
iMacs,
spec it with more, but you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
upgrade it after the fact.
Yeah, you can
Or
spec
if
it
you
out
can
to have
spec
more,
it
but
with more.
I don't
That's
know
what
if
I
that's
meant.
yeah, you
Yeah, now
can
you
spec it
can't
out for
upgrade.
like 48 gigs, I think, right? Or is it 36? 34.
Let
I
me
don't
see.
remember. Let's see.
It's something that like competes.
Oh
with
no,
the
you
rest
can't
of it.
upgrade the RAM in it. It's only. Oh no, you can't upgrade the RAM in it. It only goes to 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's the max.
Nah, because the
What?
2021 went to at least 16. Because I remember trying to.
Nope,
spec
the
one out
2023 only goes to 8 gigabytes of RAM. I'm looking at all the reconfigurations. Let me select.
Hold on. Select and see.
Memory.
No, it's
16.
24.
24.
Okay, you can do
can
24.
Figure it, yeah. Because if I did one, I would find a reason to go 24, which they don't want to do 32 because then it's going to be in Mac Studio territory. I would do a terabyte of storage. I would do Magic Mouse and Magic Trackpad. And I would do the Touch ID keyboard. I'd probably upgrade
of course.
that to the numeral
So,
one. 'Cause- But I already have all this stuff. I already have my keyboard and my mouse. But $2,500 for a machine, okay. One hand, if you build it right and you do it like I did, it's kind of a bargain. Because you get that screen, you're getting everything in one. But then if you're looking at it from, a kind of, okay, this thing only has M3. That's going to be in the iPad soon. $2,500 computer almost that has the processor that's slightly better than my iPad's. It doesn't make sense. So it's all about how you build it. But do you guys have any more thoughts on this, or can we go to the MacBooks? Because I have some interesting thoughts on those too.
Oh, let's go to the MacBooks.
Well, I have one more.
now.
Hold on. I got one more thing to scream about in terms of the iMac.
What's up?
Oh, so do I.
Apple, where are the USB-C peripherals?
Right, exactly.
They're probably coming soon. But one more note I want to make about the iMac is that even the late 2009 iMac can be upgraded to 32 gigabytes of RAM, and the current 2023 iMac can only go to 24.
Yeah, that RAM hatch really did a lot for these old iMacs. Because think of it like this. I have a 2006 iMac that sits next to me on my desk because I like the look of it. I just like having it there. That thing has half the RAM of the new iMac. That's got 4 gigs of RAM in it, and that thing is...
Yikes.
That thing's coming up on 20 years old in, 3 years? Come on. There is so much that Apple can do to make this iMac the star of the show, the best product that they own, or that they make. But they don't. why can the Mac Mini get M2 Pro, but the iMac can't get M3 Pro? Come on, Apple. But for the MacBook Pro, this computer, I'm going to say this event was horrible because they announced two really annoying products, and I was hoping that Apple would do something good here. When I saw that event, I was like, okay, this is a nice product. But then I looked at the specs, and I saw that the base model M3 MacBook Pro starts with 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Yep.
Because, because the computer from 2012, the Retina MacBook Pro started with 8 gigs. And this thing can't get 16, it can't get 12. Come on, Apple.
It's
more
a
expensive than the model it
MacBook
replaces.
on 8 gigabytes.
It's more expensive than the model it replaces.
Yeah, it's $1,600 for this. And you want to know what the real thing about this computer is? It's a gateway machine. Because once you put that $200 16 gigs of RAM option, you're up to $1,799. Okay. And then forget all the used, refurbished, whatever. Forget the M2 Pro and the M1 Pro. If I'm going to order this and I do a base model M3 Pro, it is $2,000, $1,999. So to get a usable amount of RAM, you're going to be paying what, $200 more that was? So for $200-$300 more, you're getting a way better computer. You're getting the M3 Pro. You're getting not 16 but 18 gigs of RAM, which at 2 gigs, it'll make somewhat of a difference. And another thing that I noticed that is a downgrade, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the MacBook Pro shipping with something higher than a 70-watt adapter? Because mine had the 96-watt adapter, because I got the higher-end model.
Mine has the 96-watt adapter, too.
Yeah, yours
It
was
did
the
have a
original.
smaller one.
Didn't?
It did have a smaller one for base.
I
I don't remember what it was. It was 80-something.
Yeah, and now it's 70. Why? Like, that's kind of stupid, right?
To be fair, at
Well,
least
I
it has a
mean-
power brick.
Well, if you don't supply power brick with a Mac, then there's going to be a lot of problems, you know. But 70 watts, I'm not saying it's a deal breaker because okay, it's not gonna kill you. It's just the fact that Apple upgraded us. Now they're downgrading us back down to 70. Like, why?
It's got to be 76 watt.
The old one or the new one?
If I recall, the bricks that Apple's sold, it's 76, I think. 76 watt.
They're
What's
saying
that number, I think?
They're saying 70 here, so I don't know because they could be shipping higher than 70 and just not telling us. But the fact that I don't know, because I didn't pay exact attention to what they used to ship, but I think it was a less than 70 watt adapter. But the other thing about the M3 MacBook Pro, can you guys guess what else Apple did with the regular M3 compared to the M3 Pro? They removed the port.
Difference between the chips or the chassis?
the performance kinda, or the I/O.
Oh, yeah, that.
They removed the port, which I don't hate, okay, because I have a feeling that normal M1, M2, and M3. Wait, no, because the iMac has M1 and M3, and it has 4-port options, so I guess there really wasn't a reason, because I was...
But the iMac also does not have HDMI and SD card slot.
Yeah, I was gonna say the MacBook Pro might have, like, some sort of different configuration with the normal chips, but I don't hate it.
I think that's the case.
Because it's still, this computer, no matter what it is a massive upgrade from that stupid 13-inch MacBook Pro that they sold.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was.
But still, it's not worth $1,600. They should have priced it lower.
Oh, I'm not.
I know
not
that
buying
Retina.
it.
I know that XDR display is really, really good. That mini LED is amazing. Trust me, I have an M2 Pro. It is amazing. But the fact that you're paying this much, because if you spec out something on this Gen MacBook, you're getting something good. So I was looking at the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and this thing's a bargain if you spec it out properly. So you go with the normal M3 Pro, then you upgrade the RAM a little bit, and then you upgrade the SSD a little bit, and you're at $3,099.
Yeah.
that's a great price for a 16-inch MacBook Pro. You know, that's good, because the 16-inch MacBook Pro was a great machine when I had it. And the 14-inch too. I just feel like if you're going to be spending over $3,000, it might be a good idea to go 16-inch just to have that extra bit of like flexibility. But if you do the 14,
Well, if you ask me, it's always a better idea to go 16-inch, but, well,
Yeah,
you know me.
same here.
depends on the user, you know. But for the M3 Max, like, you get the cheapest M3 Max machine. It's like $3,200 on a 16 or a 14-inch. I think I might be able to spec this. Oh no, yeah. So it's about $3,200, which, okay, I don't hate that.
kind of up there, but, I mean, it's not the end of the world.
If you compare it to the Mac Studio, which comes with M2 Max, yeah, it comes with M2 Max, which I guess it's going to go to M3 Max at WWDC, or whatever next event they do. That's $19.99 to start with. You're getting 32 gigs of RAM, M2 Max. So let's just say, for the sake of this, that it's M3 Max, and that we're talking later down the line when they do upgrade it to M3 Max. You're paying like $1,000 more for that screen and the peripherals, because with the Mac Studio, you're going to be paying for like a display anyway if you don't have one, and the peripherals. I think the MacBook Pro is still a better purchase, but I think that Apple really kind of has been messing with the pricing here, because the Mac Studio is a great deal, base model.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like Apple could have easily charged $24.99, $22.99, way more for this, and it would have worked out just fine. But also, the new MacBook Pro is priced so in the middle where it's really well, but it also kind of makes you wonder if you should buy a Mac Studio and a Studio display. I don't know, but they're two different
Well,
models.
that will all depend on one factor. Do you want a portable machine, or do you
Yeah.
want a desktop machine?
Exactly. But I was expecting them to put M3 in the Mac Mini too, which they didn't. So now the Mac Mini is stuck with M2 Pro. Yeah.
They'll probably
Which-
upgrade it though.
Come on, Apple. Apple had M1 machines. They still sell the M1 Air, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they still do.
I don't... It's a cool design, but I don't really get why Apple's just taking so long to switch their lineup from one M series to the next. That seems to be the defining factor of whether or not you buy a new computer. Does it have M1 or M2? Does it have M2 or M3?
Well, for one, that M1 MacBook Air is so freaking popular. It is way too good of a deal to pass up.
Yeah.
But it's also just too old at this point to be sold at its price point.
It is a 3-year-old machine now, and
Yeah.
M1
There's
is
some
holding up
toddlers.
well.
There's some the kids that age can probably are old enough to watch YouTube videos about it.
Yeah. But I'm not saying it's a bad machine. I'm just saying, what if Apple released a 12-inch MacBook for that same price with a
Ooh.
newer processor? Because the 12-inch MacBook had potential. I'm actually sitting next to a 12-inch computer right now, but it is not the 12-inch MacBook. Can you guys guess what 12-inch machine I purchased?
The iBook.
Yeah, I bought a 12-inch iBook. So I'm sitting next to a 14-inch and a 12-inch iBook. And I just
I could never use those things. They're so tiny. They just give me a migraine.
Yeah, I just disassembled the whole iBook about 2 hours ago, by the way. I had to replace the hard drive.
Oh no.
I'm being dead serious when I say there was probably 40 screws that I had to take out.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
didn't
reason
lose a
why
single one.
I dread going into my iBook clamshells.
I didn't lose a single screw. I got everything in together besides the back, but that's for a different day. I'll clip the back in whenever I have to open it up again, because I don't really know how to clip the back clips in. But back to the MacBook. If you do it properly, you're getting a good deal. And I think that it is good that these got upgraded, because now the people who are going to buy M2 Pro are just getting M3 Pro. It's a win in every single scenario. there's no reason why this computer, why the M3 Pros is bad. Because the people who were going to purchase M2 Pro already, like Teddy, he's saving up for a new MacBook. Now you're getting a better processor. You're getting a newer processor. The people who, for some reason, want to go out and buy the used M2 MacBook Pro, M2 Pro, you're getting a cheaper computer. It's a win in every book. You know?
Oh, by the way,
Maybe-
Or if you're still going for the M1 Pro like I have here, you're also going to find that for even cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh
And
no,
it's
I'm
still
going
an
like
amazing
I'm
machine.
going,
I
I'm
love
going
this
M3 Pro MacBook Pro. Well, that's what
That's
I'm
the way to
going
do it.
for.
But, you know, the only people who are really getting screwed here are kind of me and Alpha because we have the older gens now. But, like, they're still great machines.
Yeah.
They're still going
To
to
be
last
fair, I'm
forever.
getting screwed. To be fair, I'm getting screwed even more with my computer.
I guess, but at least you have Intel, so you have, like, the best Intel MacBook that they made. But, like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to upgrade this year. I don't really see a factor in upgrading this year. It just, my MacBook does everything well. I like my MacBook. I've had it for a while, and I've continued to use it every day. Of course, I'm on the studio right now, but my MacBook has just been a great machine overall. It's been probably one of my favorite MacBooks I've ever owned. I just really like that machine.
Yeah, I love my M1 Pro MacBook Pro so much. The only thing that would get me to upgrade is if Apple brings back the Touch Bar,
What about if they
or if
add?
this thing loses software support.
What about if they add more USB-Cs? Or what if they make it 18?
The funny thing is, I don't actually use the ports that often
Alpha.
anymore. Like, now that I've got my Thunderbolt dock, I now only plug the Thunderbolt dock into the laptop, and I don't use the
Yeah.
USB-C ports that much anymore.
But what if they make an 18-inch MacBook Pro? Would that get you to upgrade?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I would probably go for that. But
You know me in screen real estate.
Yeah,
I
have
value it
to.
way too much.
you know what? The one thing that would kind of get me to upgrade though, if they added more ports, because I feel like like another USB-C or two would kind of make it a better machine to me. I'm not saying there's a lack of USB-Cs. I'm just saying personal thing. Or if they made like a 17 or 18 inch, I would probably go back to the bigger displays for that. But seeing as the 16 inch barely fit in my bag, and my 17 inch 2009 doesn't, it would be an interesting machine to have because I wouldn't really be able to carry it in my bag. But I really think Apple should bring back the huge screens. Because back
so
then it
do
made sense
I.
why. It made sense why they discontinued it. The iMacs were at like 20 inches back then. Now the iMac
Yeah.
is 24. So why don't they just give us like an 18-inch Pro?
That, and they're not, the MacBooks are not as big and bulky as they used to be.
Yeah, my 17-inch MacBook Pro, that thing weighs like as much as a monitor, dude. That thing is huge.
Yeah, I know. Those things are heavy.
I got it. Somebody was recycling it at the Apple store. I was like, hey, can I have that? He says, yeah. And he pulls out 3 or 4 other computers and like a bunch of other crap, and he just gives it to me and my buddies. And I ended up with a 17-inch MacBook Pro. My friend ended up with a garbage MacBook Air, 4 gigs of RAM. And my other friend ended up with a messed up MacBook Pro Retina. So I think that I kind of made out the best here. But
I guess so.
But yeah, I had to carry that around. That was when I got the 15 Pro 2. And I had to carry that thing around in my bag. And it was sticking out the top of my bag. It was so heavy. I was like, this bag is about to break. Because I also had like
Yeah.
my 15 Pro and some camera equipment in there. So it was funny. But yeah, that's a cool computer that I have there.
Mm-hmm.
But did Apple announce anything else at this event? I don't think so. I think it was just the iMac and the MacBook Pro.
They didn't announce anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk about Vision
Oh,
Pro, did they?
what do you think of the new color?
I think it's cool. What about you?
I like space. I'll probably get a space. My MacBook Pro will probably be space black.
What do you think, Alpha? You like it?
It's fine. It's just not my preference. So
I can do that. Yeah, if I did
I prefer
upgrade-
lighter shades over darker. That's if you got to go neutral colors, I'll take the lighter shades over the darker.
Yeah,
But I'm still mad that they're still doing the neutral shades.
yeah.
Oh, so am I. I wish Apple would make a product red MacBook Pro. or a blue one.
That would be interesting. But
Oh,
I would
blue
go.
MacBook Pro.
I would probably do the space black if I was buying one, just because I like it. It's a preference thing now.
Yeah.
But you know what this means though? This means more for the iPad Pro, I think, because for the first time since like 2018, we're gonna get a new iPad color. We're gonna get space black on the iPad Pro with it, right?
Maybe.
Because that would make sense, right?
And it's still not going to be worth the money because the software is going to still suck.
But like they're getting rid of like all the space gray machines. Think of it. iPhones haven't been space gray since either 2019 or 2020 or 21. I think the 12 Pros were considered graphite.
Yeah,
I know
they
the 11
were.
Pros were space gray. And then the MacBook Pro's now losing space gray besides that stupid base model one. The iPads.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, the iPads, those are the one thing that they have left because they got rid of the iPhones in space gray. They got rid of the Macs in space gray, essentially.
The iPad
What about
10
the
doesn't
watches?
have space gray.
The what?
The iPad 10
The
doesn't have
watches.
space gray.
Oh, yeah, the watch did too. But what doesn't have space gray, Teddy?
The iPad 10.
Oh, yeah, and also the iPad, no, the MacBook Air dropped space gray. Because now it's midnight. Wait,
Oh, yeah, midnight.
no,
and-
I think they still
Wait,
have
no.
space gray, actually, right?
No, they do still have space gray. They still have the original silver and space gray.
What about the 15-inch? Because I feel like the 15-inch is different, right?
I don't know. Let me
Hang on.
check that real quick. Apple Store.
No, the 15-inch still has space gray. I'm looking at it. Yeah, they're the same exact color palette, except I would buy Starlight or Midnight. Those are the two cool colors. I really like the
Oh, yeah,
gold.
same here because
I
they're
buy
not
Midnight.
neutral colors.
I like the black color, and I like the gold Starlight. They just look so
Yeah,
cool.
same color options.
I wish the MacBook Pro
Yeah.
came in midnight, though.
I do too. But yeah, I think that they're going to end up phasing out space gray on a MacBook Air because I haven't seen a single person using an M2 MacBook Air. But out of that, in the Apple Store that I've seen, nobody ever uses space gray demos. Nobody ever uses those. I have never seen one person checking the space gray color out. It's all
Yeah, space
Starlight
gray is
Midnight.
Space gray is just a terrible color. It needs to go.
I don't like it myself. I remember right when those came out. It was August of 2022. Somebody was looking at that next to the other one. They're like, they pretty much thought the Air was the Pro, I think. So I think that kind of is screwing the MacBook Air M2 up a little bit because people think that's the Pro. But, yeah. But I think that everybody can be glad that the 13-inch MacBook Pro is gone. No more old design.
Yes.
No more old display, which was still a good display.
The only thing I'll miss about it is the touch
bar.
bar.
Yep.
That's the
The
one
last
thing.
Mac to have the touch bar.
That's the one thing that kind of annoyed me about that machine, except for that stupid design, because that design picked up scratches so easily. The edge would always get if it gets
Oh, my
caught on
2019
something.
MacBook Pro. Oh, I just discovered it has a little nick in it.
Is it on the corner?
No, it's on the edge of it, palm rest.
Oh. Yeah, my 2018 was in space gray. It picked up chips like no business. It was bad. But yeah, that machine finally gone. No more of that thing. Every MacBook Pro that you can buy now has a good display, a good selection of ports, a good design, up-to-date design.
Well, there's one design problem I have with the base model, actually.
What is it?
Okay, getting rid of a USB-C port, not the end of the world. They got rid of the USB-C port on the opposite side of the laptop
Oh,
compared to the
that's-
other two.
That's
That
such
was
a
a
crappy move on Apple.
That's
because-
bad design!
Oh, and you
As
know what
I've
the other part
mentioned-
is? Hold on, you know what the other really annoying part is?
Yeah.
The USB-C
What?
ports that are on it on the same side as MagSafe. So you can't charge from the opposite side at all.
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly!
That's so annoying. I love on my 2019 MacBook Pro how I can charge on both sides.
That is Apple engineering for you. They didn't put that much thought into that. Or maybe it's just another way that they wanted you to go with the M3 Pro machine.
Yeah, what drives me nuts is they've done it. They've done opposite sides of the laptop before.
Yep.
Like the original Retina MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air at the time.
Yeah.
They had ports on the opposite side of the laptop. The
Yeah, they
USB-A's
did.
were not on the same side.
It hasn't been since we had a CD drive. Because I'm looking at the iBook right now. That thing does not have any ports on the CD side. But it does have a pretty good array of ports that are very, very usable if you're in 2005 on the left side.
As long as you're not plugging two flash drives right next to each other.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Except for
I actually still have that problem.
Except for on the 14-inch, though. The 14-inch actually has a bit more clearance, I think. I don't know.
Nope.
I mean, the
No,
iBook,
I still run into that issue.
on the iBook.
I can't plug two flash drives in at the same time. On my MacBook right here.
Oh, yeah.
I still can't do it.
Yeah, I have a flash drive that's USB-C. I have two of those. My older one is, like, really thick, kind of. Like, it's pretty much I couldn't charge my MacBook Pro and use my flash drive before the MagSafe Max came out. Or the new MagSafe. Which was annoying.
Yeah, it's bad design. And this is the company who's good at design.
You already know
Gosh,
people
I miss Johnny Ive. I miss Johnny Ive so much.
So
You know
do
people
I.
are going to quote you there, and they're going to say, what about the Magic Mouse? What about the Apple Pencil? Yeah, two
Oh,
products.
yes.
What about,
You're not using those products when they're charging because they last so long.
Yeah.
And plus,
But the
if you're-
problem is, a lot of people actually use those ports all the time, and there are instances where you have to plug multiple flash drives into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, when the mouse's battery dies, you get a notification when it's at 2%, so that way you know, okay, once I'm done using the computer, there's still just enough battery left. Once I'm done using it, just plug the mouse in before you walk away from the computer.
Yeah.
That's actually a fairly easy thing to use. No complaints there. But when you can't plug in two flash drives at the same time,
It's annoying.
yeah.
Some people have to
But,
plug in multiple
that
flash
there
drives
is bad
at once
design.
for their jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that next we should talk about what we were hoping from the Apple event and what they didn't. What they
Well,
didn't
actually,
deliver
there's-
on.
Well, actually, there's one positive note that I wanted to bring up that I found absolutely insane. Teddy, have you watched the event?
No.
Oh, you would have missed this awesome detail.
Oh, I know what it is. It was shot on an iPhone.
They shot the whole thing on iPhone.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Maybe that's why it was only 30 minutes.
Oh, they could have made it longer.
Yeah, that.
To be fair, they had a lot of camera equipment with it, but they did it.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
That is insane. Because throughout the whole entire thing, I actually thought those were cinema cameras. The whole entire thing. No clue. I thought those were cinema cameras they were using because we knew they were using cinema cameras, and that's the quality we got out of it.
yeah,
From an iPhone.
yeah.
Yeah,
But,
we may harp on this company a lot for some dumb decisions, but boy, you know when a company makes good products, it's when you see them actually use them to do their jobs.
Yeah. And Apple uses their devices. I would like to see a single Apple event that was edited on a Dell or a Surface Studio.
Oh, we have.
Whatever.
We
I'd like
have
to see
way
a
more
Google
to talk-
event that was edited on a Chromebook.
Yeah.
Oh, we have way more to talk about with Microsoft later on.
Oh.
But
Uh-oh.
first
what
up,
do
we
you
have
guys?
other Apple news.
Yeah. What did you guys want out of the new event that Apple couldn't give us?
New
Like,
iPad.
USB-C accessories.
USB-C accessories, I agree on that. I wasn't exactly hoping they did that because that would mean I spend a lot more money on USB-C accessories, but I was kind of hoping that Apple would silently upgrade it for like the iMacs. Because that is a problem that I face whenever I have to charge my stuff. No US.
I've been wanting it because I'm looking to get a second keyboard and mouse for my music set because every single time I'm about to get started, I go for the keyboard and the mouse. And I'm like, those are still over at the other desk.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting to get a new mouse and keyboard, but I don't want Lightning anymore. I'm done with Lightning. In fact, once USB-C AirPods Max come out, these things are going on eBay.
Yeah, you know they get terrible money on eBay. Like $250, $300 right now.
Oh gosh!
I was gonna
They're
sell
3 years
mine.
old, to be fair.
I was about to sell mine, and I was like, come on. But anyways, I was hoping for one thing that I was going to want to buy. It was an iPad Mini 7.
Oh,
Because
it's so overdue. All iPads at this point are so overdue for a refresh.
I really like my iPad Pro, but I just want something that's easier just to throw in a bag and carry around.
That's why I
I
don't
just
use
want an iPad with better software.
That's why I
Yeah.
don't use an iPad Pro. That's why I was going to go for the Mini at first, but then had a little more money to spend and splurged on the Air.
Yeah, but Apple should have updated the Mini. It's been 2 years now, and I don't want to buy a Mini because if I go out and buy one, it's going to be 2 years.
They're going to update it, and then it's going to feel really old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine buying a Mini 5 in 2021. Just imagine getting screwed out of USB-C.
Yeah.
No, wait, they don't have Face ID. USB-C, in-button Touch ID, bezel-less display, that really cool new design, the new.
It even has a flash.
Imagine getting screwed out of all that just because you went for the old Mini.
Oh, Apple Pencil too. That's another one too.
Yeah. But whatever it is, I almost won an iPad Air at Dave & Buster's yesterday. But it's really annoying to me how Apple just treats these products. Because people keep iPads for a long time.
Yeah.
Buy an iPad 9 right now, it might only be 3 years old right now, but it's 2 years old. I forgot those were 2021. But the design is from 2013, the iPad Air. The thing is already 2 years old. So in another 2 years, it's going to be 4 years old, so that thing's already going to be 2 whole years out of date compared to if you buy an iPad 10 or... I'm not going to say that because that's stupid. If you buy an iPad 11 when that comes out, it's going to be 0 years old when you get it if you buy it on launch day. Then 2 years from now, instead of being 4 years old, it will be 2 years old. So that's kind of my theory. That's kind of like, not my theory, that's kind of like my thinking when people buy these old devices. It might only be 2 years old now, but it's still 2 years out of date. If you're planning to keep it longer than a couple of years, it's going to get really bad. You know?
That's true. That's why I got so mad at my school for buying iPad 9s because they're
Well, they probably didn't
so
buy
out
it
of
just now. They probably bought it like when they were new.
No, they did. They just bought them this year.
Oh, they probably got a bulk deal.
They bought them because they were the cheapest thing on the site.
Yeah.
Because you already know like half of those are going to get water damaged or smashed by kids.
I hope we'll get new. And unfortunately, I'm going to be stuck with an old obsolete iPad probably for the next 4 years, given my school's frequency to upgrade their technology.
You know, my friend's school gives them iPad Pro 12.9s.
Which school does he go to? Or not seriously, but which school does he go to? Maybe I'll enroll there.
I don't know. It's somewhere. It's somewhere that's far from me. But it is.
It has to be a private school if that's the case.
No, it's not a private school. It's
what?
Yeah, it's.
Who in their right mind would spend that much money on an iPad?
And you know what the even better part about it is?
What?
They're 256GB models too.
Oh!
Does the school have just money lying on the table or something?
And
they
and
must.
there's something that makes the value even higher. They have Apple Pencils and OtterBox Defenders.
They're gonna buy us Logitech crayon. They were testing out Logitech crayons right now for us at school instead of the real Apple Pencil.
I don't know which year it is, but it's definitely the new one because it's got the Face ID and all. So it's something newer, kinda. But it's got the new camera, so it's either 2020, 21, or 22. But
why would they spend that much money on an iPad? But not just an iPad, hundreds of iPads.
yeah. Oh, and also, it's in a pretty populated area. You know, it's in a big city, like an actual city where if I say the name of it, you will, off the top of your head, know.
I'm pretty sure I've been there before.
I'll
So-
actually put it.
No, I haven't. Oh, I've never been to that city before.
Oh, I've never been there. No.
I should go
What
there.
do you
But
thought
Oh,
it was?
jeez.
Put in the chat where you thought it was.
I thought you were
I
talking
have a
about your
feeling
own
I
home
know.
city until I realized
No.
no way. And then maybe I thought you were talking about my home closest big city.
But yeah, that's something that they get.
I mean, for that area right there, I guess it kind of fits with the theme of the whole state.
I don't know, but it's
Just, gosh.
But
Anywho, back to the show.
yeah, I also wish that they would update the AirPods 3 because it has been
Oh,
2
yes.
years, and it's like every 2 years they update AirPods. 2017, 2019, 2021, then AirPods Pro 2019, skip 2020, skip 21, then 22, and AirPods Max are still not updated.
Yes, I know.
Or I guess it's been every 3 years with
Why?
AirPods. I don't know, but
Yeah, this is going on 3 years now. No, going on 4 years now. So
yeah.
I love these things so much. I just want the second generation to get rid of this stupid Lightning port.
So do I.
It is the only, aside from my Magic Mouse, which I'd like to get a USB-C one. Anyways, aside from the Magic Mouse, this is one of the 2 Apple products that I have to plug in via Lightning. The rest are all via Type-C
Wireless charging.
or wireless.
Yeah. But besides that, I was also hoping, not for myself, but just in general, iPad 10, iPad Air 6,
Oh, so was
iPad iPad Pro with an M3 processor, just to give like kind of a quick refresh of the lineup. And apparently people were expecting an SE4 there.
No, no one was it. Well,
No, I was
not
in
that
a
many
group of people.
were.
I was a bunch of people in a group that I was in were talking about the SE4. When are they going to announce the SE4? I'm like, they're not.
October would be way too early to announce an SE4.
I don't know. But
I don't know where they came up with that from.
yeah.
Probably
But-
some fake TikTok rumor videos.
But you know, also MagSafe battery pack with USB-C. MagSafe Duo with USB-C, even though that product's stupid. There's so much stuff they could have just threw USB-C on, or just done better. And you know what's funny, actually? I don't think they mentioned Vision Pro once in this video.
No, they
in this
didn't.
Keynote.
They did not.
And that's surprising because that seems to be all that they care about lately.
Maybe Apple's
But-
realizing that the Vision Pro isn't going to be as great as they thought it would.
Oh no, they still think it's the best thing since bread, or whatever that saying is. But I'm also surprised they didn't talk about the environment for half an hour.
Oh, that
I'm
surprises me
shocked
too.
about that too.
And I'm also surprised that they weren't talking about, let's see, all of their advancements with their services, like Apple TV Plus.
Oh, yeah. Yes, all those crappy services. They didn't even mention the price hikes.
They did give us a
the
TV
Apple
Plus
event.
commercial.
I'm surprised.
They did give us one
Alright.
TV Plus sneak peek.
Oh, they did.
So, yeah, they did. They snuck it. They snuck it into talking about the display of the MacBook, I think.
Oh. What kind of surprises me actually is how there's not an ad-supported version of TV Plus.
There's been rumors for around a year about that, but that just doesn't really fit Apple's current business model.
Well, yeah, it doesn't, but it's, big company wants to make money.
Yeah.
So.
I wonder if it has something to do with Apple positioning themselves as the boutique tech company, meaning ads are not really patrician level.
That's why the Apple got such bad press when there were rumors of Apple integrating more ads into iOS.
I don't know, but there was a couple things that or a lot of things that I wish that Apple announced. Coming from an October event.
Yeah, the only thing scary about that event was how short it was.
Yeah,
It was
I
not.
see some sort of
They
animal in the
over.
background of Teddy's
Oh,
video.
do we need to talk about how overhyped it was?
Yeah, I see some sort of an animal in your background right now. By the way.
Yes, that's Little Gray. That's one of my cats. She looks like she might want out, so I'll let her out.
Yeah, but this event was overrated. How many people who were saying, "Oh, this is going to be the best event," are going to buy these new devices?
I don't know who would, other than maybe some professionals who haven't upgraded to
One.
Apple Silicon yet.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, I found it so funny how much they were punching at Intel MacBook owners about this. They're like, "This is like, why are you still on Intel?"
I can definitely.
It's because I don't
agree.
have enough money yet.
Yeah, but it was, I guess, a mid-event. Whatever.
Oh, you know,
Personally,
wanna know
I
how
prefer the
disastrous
events-
It was. So Apple decided to send out special Apple event packages to various influencers containing snacks and free AirPods Max. Yes, I just rhymed there. They never do that. Not only that, but they also put it at, in my time zone, 7, which is
Yeah, it was pretty
usually
late. It
my
was.
time zone. It's
Yeah, I was actually not working for once when the Apple event was streaming.
Yeah.
But why would they be doing that if it's just a stupid, basic event?
I don't know. Maybe they knew that everybody, who was in school or at work was kind of tired of or maybe Apple got tired of people not watching it because they were at school or in work. Or maybe it was just to fit like the kind of Halloween theme that they were doing.
I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why they did it that late.
Yeah.
Though 5 p.m. Isn't the sun still up?
It's winter now, so we're fall.
In California, maybe, but it's barely
Because
up in
I
my
know when it's
region
5 p.m.
at
here,
5.
the sun's still up.
Huh.
Though it does get dark at 5. Again, I live a little further east than you, Alpha, but it does get dark. But by late November, once the time changes, which at least this is going to be our last time change, it always usually gets dark at around 4:30.
Yeah, it's been dark here for a while.
Same in my
Oh, yeah.
place.
It usually doesn't get dark until like 6:45, 7-ish,
Yeah,
sometime around there. But that's because I'm at like the edge of the time zone.
To be fair, it's funny how we're in different time zones, yet your Alpha's a lot further west than me.
Yeah, I'm further west than Teddy, but yeah, I'm in the time zone east of him. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of this time of the year because of this kind of stuff.
It's a lot better than January and February, which is my least favorite time of year.
I don't really like January either.
Hey, be grateful you don't live here when it's January.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
it's even worse in my region because in my region you basically get. I live in the southeastern United States for context, and there's not a whole lot of snow where I live, but it's also so cold that usually you're lucky if it gets over 40 degrees on a winter day, to the point where the track in my backyard that I like to ride my bike on is often melting, so I basically can't use that like I can every other time of the year. Basically can't go outside really much for anything that time of year, and you can't exactly enjoy fun winter activities because it doesn't snow very much. So as a result, and there's also no big holidays on top of that, so it's just kind of, and there's often no sun either, so it's often just an endless loop of boring everyday stuff that gets so endless.
Have you ever hit 0 degrees?
Yes.
Have you ever hit 25 degrees below 0 degrees?
No.
I believe our record here is negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, I'm not surprised. You're in Michigan.
Gosh, I hate it up here. Oh, I hate it up here. We already got like 2/3 of a foot on Sunday night.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we have snow up here now, by the way.
We don't have snow. We don't have snow quite yet, but they're preparing for a rough winter by rerouting the power lines in my city.
Oh goodness, we're gonna get dumped on with snow this year. If we get 2/3 of a foot 2 nights after our first snow, I think that means we're in for quite a hell of a winter.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Thank you, Lake Superior.
Speaking of quite a terrible winter, we need to. Do you know the operating system that can make a terrible winter even worse?
Windows.
Funny enough, at work today, my boss finally truly realized why I left Windows.
Why? What happened?
He had the worst crash happen on his laptop.
What happened?
He has a cool program that he runs in Excel. I can't dive too much into it because it's work stuff, but basically Excel crashed on him, and then one by one all of his other apps started crashing on him. However, when he closed them, he could still close them and they close fine, and when he opens them, they'd open right back up, but they don't let you do anything.
Yeah. It's Windows.
Had to restart the computer.
I don't know how people defend having to restart a computer. Like, oh, you only have to restart it once every little while. No, it's an everyday occurrence for most people.
At the computer lab at my school, you have to I have a class that requires a computer lab, and every Friday we have to shut down our restart our computers to help them run better.
Yeah.
And then back at my old school, when I went to school, you had to use 5 different computers to print a single essay because they can't do crap.
Well, I have really big news about Windows that you guys will love.
What's up?
Windows is actually losing market share despite macOS, Chrome OS, and other builds of desktop Linux gaining market share.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Screw this company until they actually decide to make a decent product.
I'm not going back to Windows ever.
I hate this platform so much.
So do I. I had a terrible experience.
I think it
with
is
Windows.
the definition of an abusive relationship.
It is. It's the most abusive relationship I've ever been in.
It's a relationship I'm still in. I love my job, but I hate the operating system I have to use to do it.
Yeah. But, yeah, Windows. We've talked about Windows so much here. I feel like everyone's tired of hearing about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's just a little bit of news I had to but
yeah.
we have some more new. But there's more Microsoft news that we have to talk about.
So,
Well, I have a feeling it's not good.
The Microsoft CEO, this is now the third Microsoft CEO besides Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer, the current one, who I can't remember his name. He admits regretting the discontinuation of Windows Phone.
I think Windows Phone should come back.
I don't, if their idea of a good operating system is what they're currently producing.
But
Oh
we need a
yes,
third-
Windows Phone should not come back. It was terrible
But we need-
the first time.
We need a third OS to just kind of make the Android users and the iPhone users come together and hate Windows.
I do agree with that. It's just...
But I think it would be kind of cool to have a third OS because more device possibilities. You know, we would have... Android users would have something to go to when they don't want another Android. iOS users would have something to go to when they don't want another iPhone. And I don't hate Android. I don't like Android. It's not my type of thing.
Yeah, it's not mine, but again, the reason why I don't
Yeah.
use Android is that way I can tie in with the Apple ecosystem. And the reason why I want to tie in with the Apple ecosystem is because Windows is trash.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the primary reason why I ended up ditching Android, the ultimate driver, was the MacBook.
Oh.
Because the truth is, Android, I don't actually hate it. I actually really like Android. It's just, well, for one, operating system-wise, if both phones cost the same amount, I'd still pick iOS because iOS caters to my preferences. But that does not mean I hate Android at all. I actually like the operating system.
Yeah, Android's a good staple operating system.
Yeah, so I do like Android, and it does open up that ability for choice. And again, I used to be an Android user. You guys remember that, right?
I wasn't.
Videos from that
I didn't
time,
know. I didn't know your I didn't watch your videos at the time of you being an Android user. Besides of you using your besides back when you were using your Android tablet, but yeah, I remember.
Well, I also had my Samsung Galaxy A50. I made a couple videos with that. In fact, that was my camera for a while until I got the iPhone XS Max. But
yeah, so
yeah,
I've seen
I was an
your
Android
videos.
user. And the truth is, I don't hate the operating system, but iOS catered to... It was minor differences at the time. It was minor preference things that probably weren't enough to convince me to switch over, but the ultimate thing that made me want to switch over... Gosh, Android and Mac just do not go together at all.
It's a little better
I do
now
not
than
know
it
how
used
Marquez
to be,
does
it.
Yeah, true. But also, that was basically at the decline. That was at the start of the decline where Samsung really started going downhill.
Oh yeah.
And I still like Android, but I'm not a fan of Samsung's hardware today. They've just went. They stopped catering to their fan base. They've completely stopped catering to their fan base, and they were so proud of it. And I think despite that, yeah, the ads were cringy and kind of bad. I mean, they empowered that Samsung fan base, and the fact that they were catering to them, more power to them. But yeah, once we saw the Note 10, that was the phone that indicated the demise of Samsung.
And Samsung now, I hardly see any Samsungs at my school now. Most of the time, if I see a phone now, it's either some cheap TC, it's an iPhone, or if it's not an iPhone, it's a TCL.
Huh.
Yeah, I never thought that I'd say this, but boy, has Pixel popped up in popularity.
I like Pixels.
I know one classmate that has a Pixel.
I'm a fan of
I
Google's
remember-
Pixel series, honestly.
I really like Google Pixels too. It's just that
If you knew me,
like
I
that.
hated them at first. I hated them at first.
yes.
They were so bad.
I remember back when Alpha was did his video on the best and worst tech of 2020, and you mentioned the you mentioned the Samsung Galaxy Note 20, and you used the words Samsung pulled a Pixel.
Oh yeah, they did. They pulled a Pixel. That's the title of one of my episodes on the podcast.
Which podcast? Oh, I thought you said stop.
My old podcast.
I thought it was stop buying Pixel.
I thought I used it as a title. Samsung pulled a Pixel.
Let me check the Random Alpha podcast.
Jeez, I haven't visited that channel in ages.
Well,
27 subscribers? Why does it have 27 subs?
Oh, nope, it was...
Probably Hubert and all of his alt accounts.
Stop buying Pixel. Yeah. It's funny how now we've done more episodes with on this.
Maybe it was one of my gadgets videos.
I don't know.
It might have been one of my gadgets videos. Let me see.
I remember. It's crazy how we've done more episodes with Alpha now than Alpha ever did of his own podcast.
Yeah. Let me see. Samsung. Okay, first one was S21. Was it on the other? I don't know. I said it somewhere. I don't remember where.
Yeah, it was on YouTube. It was on your best and worst tech of 2020 video.
Yeah, they basically pulled a Pixel with the Note 10. That was.
You know what the funny part is? The Note 10 was probably the last good Note phone. Because the Note 20 had a plastic back. The Note 20 Ultra was just kind of...
Yeah, that was... What?
The Note 20 Ultra was just not really amazing.
Yeah, the Note 20 Ultra was what the Note 20 should have been.
Yeah. It was like expensive too. That thing was like...
Oh, yeah.
1,500? 1,400?
1,000.
It was more than 1,000.
I thought the Note... are you talking about the Note 20 Ultra or the
Ultra.
standard Note 20? Oh, yeah, the Note 20 was Ultra was probably that much.
Yeah. Just, boy, have they demised. And I am so shocked that one of my least favorite smartphones, my most hated smartphones, has actually now become one of my favorites. Like, I've been debating actually buying a Pixel and checking it out to review because they've fixed so much of what was wrong with the Pixel.
And used Pixels are steals.
I've said this a couple times. If I had to use Android, it would be a Pixel 8 Pro in blue. I would not even take a look at the S23. It would be a Pixel immediately. Pixel,
yeah, neither would I.
Or some sort of like overseas phone, because those things have crazy advancements, like Xiaomi and all. But yeah, I would do Pixel 8 Pro in that bay blue color. But I would rather not.
I don't know
have
which
to
one
to
I'd go
Pixel.
for, but yeah, I'm not going to switch to Pixel either because, well, one, I've been ingrained in the Apple ecosystem, but I love it too much. I'm not ditching my MacBook for Android.
I'm not even really,
especially considering what else is on the market.
I don't really care that much about the Apple ecosystem. I just really like my iPhone. I'm very satisfied with my iPhone. And I also don't want to buy a new phone. The 15 Pro was already a pretty expensive phone. I would rather just keep this instead of switching,
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, besides,
it's kind of sad where Android has gone as of late, because I'm trying to look at any of the other hardware providers or any of the other.
everyone's gone.
Yeah. I mean, OnePlus also has come to a demise too. Gosh, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, same.
And yet,
OnePlus
what have
was
they
good.
become? People try to pretend that nothing is exciting.
It's not.
I like the Nothing phone.
Yeah, but there's nothing exciting about the
Nothing phone is just a generic Android phone that it's basically the only advantage that the Nothing phone has over TCL is that Nothing is at least with Nothing you don't have to worry about potential Chinese spyware. Otherwise,
Cool design.
that's otherwise the only thing because Nothing looks. I don't care what people say, but the Nothing Phone 1 still resembles an iPhone 12. And the Nothing Phone 2 still resemble the iPhone 12 too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like iPhone 12s, but, I own one. It's a little bit different when you own one, when you're actually able to, check it out and you have that actual scale. But, yeah, it looks like a 12. Doesn't feel like a 12, though. But I get why people don't like the Nothing Phone. It's not everybody's type of thing.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, a phone with pretty lights on the back.
It's also a pretty good price when you think about it, comparing that to an SE3.
Oh, it beats an SE3
the
in
issue
every
with
way.
The issue with the Galaxy A series of phones, hear me out here. Those things are okay when they're out of the box, but in the long run, those things suck.
Oh, yeah.
So, the Nothing Phone 1, I updated to Nothing OS 2. I even had the leaked version. It was fine. Never had a problem with it.
Yeah, the budget Androids, jeez.
They just get so...
They're great out of the box, but they don't last long.
Yeah, exactly. They just get so bad. I don't know if you're A50... got really bad around the end, slow.
It got slow.
Yeah.
It got slow.
That's what happens with them.
Yeah, now the gesture system feels clunky.
Yeah.
Because it's so slow and so delayed.
Things are awful.
So
I don't know who says that the A series devices are, good to buy used. The reason they're so cheap used is because they're garbage.
Yeah.
When you get out of the box, really nice phones. But I see more people switching from A-series devices to, Pixels and iPhones than I see any other device. Except for maybe, the S20. Nobody seemed to like the S20.
yeah, the only people I know with the S20 series are my grandparents, because my grandpa's a smartphone enthusiast and he will always buy Samsung, and my parents, because what's my dad? He has the S20 Fan Edition.
Oh.
Yeah.
That thing.
It's not because he's a fan of this phone. It's just because that's what was cheap and what was available.
Yeah.
And actually, he needed a higher-end phone to do his job. And then my mom only has the S23 because she got it for free, thanks to AT&T.
Yeah.
So I don't see anyone else with those phones anymore.
Yeah. But you look at iPhone 11s, you can still see people with iPhone 11s out there.
And
I still see people with 10Rs.
So,
Yeah.
I even have a couple of classmates with 8 still. Or there's one who even has a 7 Plus, which, boy, that's rough.
When I see a 7 Plus, I don't think cheap used iPhone. I think, wow, what a time that was. 2016, dual cameras.
So do I.
I don't think of cheap used iPhone. I think of good in its time. Probably shouldn't be bought anymore. Probably should stay in its own time. But
they almost seem like they're unique little devices today.
Yeah, because I love my Red 7 Plus just to have. It's
my 7 is
don't use
also
it
an
that
excellent
much.
phone.
It's a collection device.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't come out with an SE Plus.
Yeah.
Because I know so many people who haven't upgraded from the 8 Plus or the 7 Plus because as much as I personally hate it, they still want the home button and Touch ID, but they also want to keep the big display.
No clue why they want the...
And dual cameras.
Yeah. I don't know anybody, or I don't know why anybody would want a home button still, but I guess different people like their phones to be outdated,
To be fair, the only people I know most of my classmates with outdated phones just have outdated phones because they don't have access to buy have money or anything to buy higher end iPhones.
Well, they also probably don't care. They probably don't know what the higher-end iPhones are like, so they're like, oh, this works.
Well, then also the thing that matters most to them is Snapchat.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm one notable thing about iPhone, about the phones that my classmates use is that I only have one and out of all my classes, I only have one other classmate in my classes that has a pro iPhone, or two actually.
Which iPhones? 14s?
12. One person has a 12 Pro and the other has an 11 Pro.
I have a question.
Those would be hand-me-downs from parents.
Yeah.
I have a question, man.
Most likely.
Did you just kind of like go and survey everybody about what phones they have, or did you just?
No,
like,
I can just tell from looking at the phones.
Did you ever ask them about their phones, or do you just see
some
them?
very rare, very seldomly? I can just tell from looking at the phones.
Wow.
That's how. Yeah,
I mean, you can tell the difference between the 12s and the 13s just by looking at the notch.
Yeah, I can usually tell by the colors and the camera bump designs on my more modern iPhones. So that's how I can often tell.
Yeah.
But no, I do not survey all my classmates about what phones they have. That would be annoying.
Yeah, you would be considered as like a nerd.
I actually used to.
What was the most interesting phone that you saw somebody use, Alpha? Or that you've...
6S and 6S Plus.
There's nobody who used like Blackberries or anything?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, no one uses
Everyone
everyone
there had a 6S or 6S Plus.
Wow.
Maybe an SE, the original SE here and there, but no, all of my classmates, they all had either a 6S or 6S Plus. Those things were wildly popular.
What about Salt?
Yeah, they were.
He got an iPhone 8.
Yeah, I thought
Was
Saul
he
had
your
an 8.
classmate, or like where do you meet that guy at?
That was
Was
an
he like your
exception.
classmate?
Huh?
Where did you meet that guy at? Was he like your classmate, or?
I've known him since kindergarten.
Oh, seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. I basically grew up with him.
Do you still like have contact with him, or?
He's terrible at answering. He's a great guy, but there's one thing that we both laugh about all the time. He is terrible at answering his phone.
Oh, alright.
To be fair, his iPhone 8 probably doesn't have good battery life anymore.
Oh yeah, he even tells me it's dead half the time.
My iPhone 8, mind you, as a collection phone, has one of the worst My iPhone 8 as a collection phone, mind you, has a worse battery than my 2Gs.
Wow.
Yeah, I am dead serious. This thing is almost as bad as my 8 is almost as bad as my iPhone. It's not quite as bad as my iPhone 5s, which are terrible, and it's not as bad as my Gold 6S, but yeah, this 8 has basically garbage battery life.
Yeah.
If I had more money or else thought about more, I might actually, the 8 is at the top of my list of needing battery replacements, so I don't replace the batteries in my phones very much, so.
Would you do it yourself, or would you have Apple do it?
I don't know. I'd probably do it myself, but I don't like to repair devices just because I always worry about breaking them, so.
Yeah, I don't really like messing around in phones that much anymore.
Yeah, I don't. I just always have that fear of
Yeah.
breaking phones, which is why I don't fix them myself very much. So as a result, most of my
For me, I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing it unless there's adhesives.
Yeah.
That's the part that scares me the most. If it's just screws and magnets, like my '09 iMac, it's all screws and magnets. Perfectly fine tearing that thing apart and working on it. But if there's any glue and adhesives involved, no, I steer clear of that.
That stuff's annoying.
Oh well, we have a very exciting bit of news from Canon, which is going to sound
Really?
completely alien on this podcast.
Canon, that camera company?
Yep. And the
What is
printer
it?
company. So Canon has announced new titanium camera metal lenses that are thinner than one sheet of paper.
That's cool.
Now you...
How does that work?
It uses it's some sort of physics. It's some sort of physics. The material itself can let light pass through without the lenses being curved. But you know what this means for camera bumps on iPhones?
They can be smaller. If Apple figures out the technology.
Yep. Which combined with
that'd be awesome.
which combined with LG's helpful solution to making one lens be able to do so many different tasks could ultimately reduce the camera bumps so much to the point where my next iPhone will not look like my next iPhone might not look like a 70s stovetop.
Yeah. I still find it funny how your phone has the biggest camera bump to body ratio.
Yeah.
I've seen so many 14 Pros out in the wild. It just looks so bad.
They're funny phones.
It is funny. Yeah, I'm going to be so sad the day that this loses software support because, gosh, I love this design too much.
It is a really
Probably
good
coming
design.
soon.
It's just not good. It's just not good engineering inside for reasons that we've gone into way too much on this podcast.
No, I just wish they could make this again, but with the updated internals, like the new A series chip, so that way it could get better software support. Because it doesn't have this extremely controversial titanium. It doesn't have the matte glass. I hate the matte glass so
I'm not
much.
a big fan of it either.
It has the best edges available,
Oh,
completely
I agree.
rounded. Has the ringer switch, 3D touch.
Oh, I miss 3D Touch so much. I wish iPads had it.
Yeah, too much I miss. Oh, and the notch.
I'm glad it's gone.
I do prefer that design. I do miss this design notch on the new iPhones. So.
Alright, well, we have another bit of news to talk about regarding some cars. Can the state of California ban GM's driverless cars
That's stupid.
due to accident concerns?
I'm trying to remember what caused it. Didn't a car drag a person? Not just hit, but drag a person?
I don't know the exact incident that caused it, but all I know is that California now banned GM's driverless cars. Which again shows a
Gonna
big
suck
call
for GM.
To be fair, GM isn't that great of a car company anyway, so
Well, my family's been buying their products for years, and actually, I think they've made better decisions than some other brands in a few instances. Like, I will never stop despising Ford's seat engineering team until they take all the seats from the Ford Mach-E and put it in the rest of their vehicles.
I actually don't think GM cars are the worst things ever, but the problem is that they
In my opinion, Chrysler and all the other brands associated with them, those are the worst cars to be buying.
Chrysler and their other companies are so much trash, right? They're not the good cars that they used to be.
No, they are so bad. They're so old, too. They haven't updated any of that stuff in years.
Oh, I have to go.
Like, how old is the latest Durango design? They still haven't updated the Grand Caravan, despite how many years that thing's been rolling.
Oh, the Grand Caravan's discontinued now.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah, it's just they they do not update their stuff. It feels old. A lot of the ergonomics and design engineering solutions they've come up with, they were great 10 years ago, but they don't work today.
Like the Jeep Compass
and then the overall build quality is just terrible.
The Jeep Compass and the Jeep Patriot have had so many recalls and reliability issues due to so many failures in an age when Tesla's taking over, in an age they're supposed to be going electric, and yet they're having to deal with this nonsense.
They haven't even produced a single electric vehicle yet.
No, they have. They offer electric Jeeps.
Those are hybrids.
Nope, they're full electric.
I don't think Jeep produced those. I'm pretty sure that's aftermarket rebuilds.
Oh well, still technically Chrysler does sell EVs.
I wouldn't say that because they don't actively market any of them right now.
Yeah, and to be fair, they're still rocking the inferior port, so not like they should be marketed anyway.
That is true. I'm surprised they still haven't announced yet.
Maybe they're not going to. Maybe they're gonna.
They don't have a CCS port anyways because all of their hybrids use the AC only plug.
Well, maybe they're all just gonna keep you. Maybe they're hatching up some secret plan with Lucid.
I don't know. I mean, well, for one, I'd expect them to be one of the last to switch because, again, they're so bad at updating their technology and standards to more modern standards.
Chrysler almost went bankrupt in the 1970s, mind you, so this goes to show you how the
I'm kind of surprised they're not bankrupt now because they haven't touched their stuff in years.
People still really like their cars, but I mean, older Chrysler vehicles are. I love older Chrysler vehicles so much.
The only Chrysler vehicle I like is the Pacifica.
Not
the crossover one. I'm talking about the 2017 and later minivan.
Oh, the minivan Pacifica is actually okay. The minivan Pacifica, I like that too. Though I'd personally go with a Toyota Sienna or a Honda Passport. Though the
Odyssey,
Honda
Odyssey is the van.
Excuse me. My family used to have an old Chrysler Pacifica from 2007, and it was one of the nicest vehicles I've ever been in. Now, granted, of course, there are cars that have better designs. Like Toyotas have nice design. Obviously, my dad's BMW has a really nice interior.
I actually hate Toyota's design language a lot.
I love Toyota's design language. I think that's the best thing. I think the Japanese car automakers, I think the thing they get the best done right now is the design, in terms of especially interior design. I think they...
Well, I mean, if you look at the Prius, then, the Prius is a little bit of a piece of crap, I'm not going to lie.
The Prius isn't that excellent.
I mean, you also look at the fact that the Prius is like shift column, I guess, whatever. Or it's not column shifter, but it's on
the electronic shifter.
Yeah, it's on like the dash almost. Like it's why is it up there?
To be fair, the Toyota Prius has some weird design.
And then you look at the old Prius, you look at that shifter, nobody's going to be able to figure that shifter out.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, the Prius is such a miss, especially with the redesign that came out. It's such a miss.
It's a missed opportunity to put in because I think that if Toyota was to do the Prius properly right now, they would make it an all-electric version. They would make an all-electric version.
Sure.
Because that's the only reason why I would give the Prius a pass, because the Prius is the one car that Toyota would, that would make sense for Toyota to do that with, because That's the electric car. Everybody knows Toyota Priuses have electric in them. You know?
And that's the environmentally friendly, earth-friendly car that a lot of people bought into back when the Prius was initially announced.
Yeah, so what are they doing here? Why is it still just a hybrid? I don't know.
Well, actually, I have one answer for you. It's there was a Japanese auto show going on, and it was in Japan, and I don't remember if it's the current CEO or the former CEO, but basically one of the CEOs got up on stage and talked about how the sales of Toyota's BZ4X, which is their terrible electric car, they're saying, see guys, we told you electric cars are terrible. Everybody hates, we made one for you and everybody hates it. See, aren't electric cars terrible? We put our best effort into making one and it's terrible. See,
Toyota,
gas and hybrids are the future.
Toyota tries to make, and Toyota is also the same, what am I trying? And then Toyota is the same company trying to make hydrogen cars. Like, they think they can seriously survive in the U.S. with hydrogen versus electric vehicles.
Come on, Toyota. The reason why your electric car is bad isn't because EVs in general are bad.
It's because
the reason why your electric car is bad is because you did a poor job engineering that thing and you made it bad on purpose.
Oh, by the way, I have to go grab a charging cable for my phone.
Okay, go for it. Surprised he doesn't keep a charging cable in his room.
Yeah,
I do, but they're all older charging cables, and I also don't spend a lot of time in my room, so.
Surprised you don't have like an iPad charger in there.
I do, but my iPad's USB-C, so.
Oh, I forgot you have a 14 Pro.
Yeah.
I actually got confused there for a second because I was like, iPhone's USB-C.
No,
I'm so glad that's normal now.
Yeah.
iPhones have USB-C.
Unfortunately, I'll be one of the last ones to switch because I probably won't be upgrading until the 17 Pro.
Wow.
Yeah, I have no idea when I'm getting a new iPhone to keep.
It's also...
What I do?
Oh, what do you mean to keep?
Yeah.
You gonna rent out a 15 Pro or something, or buy one and return it?
I want to play the whole buy and return thing like what Telosa does
he used
because
to
I
do
need
that.
something from the Gadgets channel. I can't just keep
Dude,
coming up
buy
with
15
explaining
plus.
topics and news.
buy 15
Well,
plus?
yeah.
Check that out for a while.
Yeah, once I get my finances in order to actually temporarily buy it.
Why don't you?
Gosh, the bills are expensive.
Why don't you just do more videos on legacy technology instead, like what I do whenever.
That's not really his
technology
channel
draw.
direction, though, you know?
Yeah, that's just not where my interest is. It's not really in legacy devices, even though one might beg to differ because of what I use, but
To be fair,
I only use it as a message to Apple to tell them that they need to do something about the iPhone's design. It's terrible.
To be fair, the iPhone XS Max is a lot newer than a lot of the legacy devices I cover on my channel. Like my video tomorrow, when I'm going to be proving why the entire iPod Nano lineup is an excellent item for excellent items for collections, despite what a lot of people, Apple collectors, make fun of.
Well, it's actually really funny right now. Unrelated, but my mouse just disconnected again I haven't had this issue in a couple of weeks. And, okay, there we go. I had to turn it off and on. Is my keyboard up? Yeah, my keyboard's up. My trackpad's up. My mouse and trackpad disconnected. Trackpad reconnected just fine. I wish that the Mac Studio had better Wi-Fi and Bluetooth cards.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's probably a combined card in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anywho, what were we talking about before we got sidetracked by the charging
Toyota.
cable? Yeah, Toyota.
Well, that wasn't actually a planned topic, but I do have one more topic to explain. To discuss.
I might have a guess.
You want to guess?
Crap, it's over on the other side of the room.
Oh! Yeah! Are you okay?
Oh, gee. Oh,
You good, man?
that hurt. Oh, let's not do that
Should
again.
have been careful.
Oh. How are girls so flexible in that area? All right. It involves this.
Yes, Subaru has announced their transition to NACS connector on their EVs.
Funny how you were commenting about that in my last video when I talked about how they didn't do it, and what do you know? A couple days later, they do it.
I know. I remember getting the text about the text when you told me earlier.
Oh my goodness! I mean, good for Subaru owners, and especially future Subaru EV owners if Subaru ever gets their crap together in terms of building electric cars, because oh my goodness, Japanese electric cars, they are so terrible.
Well, except for Hondas. Hondas seem to be promising.
Actually, I don't know if you heard this bit of news, but there's something going wrong with that deal, actually.
What is it?
I think due to the UAW strike, they might be canceling that plan.
Oh, come on! So basically, the UAW is demanding too much money for their workers, and so as a result, they're canceling a plan that literally where Honda's entire future depends on.
Yeah, it drives me nuts because...
Huh?
What?
What is this all about? I don't remember talking about this.
Oh, this is
The UAW strike?
Yeah.
Oh, can I explain?
Explain what you know about it so far.
Okay, so basically with the UAW strike, the employees at Ford, Stellantis, and GM are all striking for higher wages, and the leader of the UAW, who mind you makes $400,000 a year, I think. He is now going. They're all going on strike for 40% wage increases. The problem with this is that Ford, GM, and Stellantis cannot afford that without going bankrupt.
Well, actually, they did finally come to some terms. Ultimately, the UAW won, but from the sounds of it, the impact that we'll see on our end is the cars will now be, unless Ford and all the others decide to eat that cost, if they pass it on to us, the cars will now be $1,000 more expensive. That's what we will see if we are the ones who have to pay for that cost.
To be fair, robots are going to take over factories more and more. So as a result, they won't have to worry about paying as many people. But of course, they'll probably leave the cost the same. So,
After hearing that, I don't blame them for going to robots.
yeah. I mean, mind you, the leader of the UAW makes $400,000 a year. Yeah, he's striking for more money.
If you have good skills and you're not satisfied with your current job, you can go to another company. Because I'm sure that, other companies would want these people.
Yeah, Tesla offers unlimited vacation days, for goodness sakes.
Huh. Isn't there like a worker shortage right now or something?
Oh, yeah. There's been for the past how many years, ever since COVID hit.
Like, come on.
And I think a lot of it has... I think a lot of it had to do with government subsidies trying to hold people over while at the time, a lot of people couldn't go to work because they weren't essential businesses. So a lot of people got a little too used to the comfort of not having to leave the house, the government's paying them, and they just got too used to it. And now now we can't live like this forever. We can't sustain that type of economy. So now it's time for everyone to come back to work, but now they don't want to. They just had the best treat in their lives. Like, you know how when you come home from vacation and then you got to go back to school the next day?
Oh,
don't you hate that? That is the feeling that all of these other people have had. And it has resulted in such bad labor force. Big reason why a lot of businesses are paying people way more than what I'm making, by the way. I'm not going to disclose my wages because, well, reasons, but many people are getting paid way more than what I am being paid for working at Subway.
You work at Subway?
No, people
I
who
don't.
are working at Subway are making more than him. And he's doing a job that is a lot more important than Subway, I'd say. A lot more complicated than Subway, right?
Oh, yeah. Every now and then, I have to design stuff. I have to engineer a plan to make this thing. I have to write the program up. I have to set up the machine. I have to run the machine. I have to do QC inspect. I do a crap ton of stuff for a lot less than what people are getting paid.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I have not left my job is because I love working there. There is no other job that can offer me what I'm currently doing. I love it so much. So much to the point where I'm willing to accept less money than what people are getting paid to work at Subway.
I guess that's good.
And to me, that kind of... From what I'm seeing, people don't see the value of hard work anymore. Because now we live in a society where, especially when kids, all of a sudden, I had to work for my smartphone. My first phone. I mean, yeah, I had to buy the phone. I'm not talking about the A50. That was a Christmas present, but my first phone even before that. All of my other devices. Heck, my first tech product. This right here. I had to work for this thing. Most kids, it's a birthday present. It's a Christmas present. The only reason why I got the A50 for Christmas was because I actually needed a way to communicate with my family. That was the only reason why I got it as a Christmas present. Other than that, I would have had to work for it. I worked for both of my iPhones. I paid for this, along with my 13 Pro Max. My MacBook, that is one of the hardest products I had to work for, because obviously it's one of the most expensive. I worked hard for that thing. And I should also point out, my cars. I bought both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you guys say about that?
I think you're very well with money there. You know, you understand your spending there. You know,
there's a lot of people
you're very
that just
good
don't
at managing it. And I feel like the fact that you have that work ethic makes it a lot easier for you to say, should I justify buying a 13 Pro? You know, could I get the SSD upgrade in the MacBook? And more than that, your vehicles. Because you held off on buying a car for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
And
despite that, I was driving a piece of junk.
Yeah.
I finally had to, because that thing was... I couldn't... It got to a point where I couldn't depend on it anymore. I had to get something different. Right. So... Yeah, and I'm lucky where I'm in the position where I can... Honestly, I still feel like I don't deserve Stardust. Stardust is what I named my current car at the moment. But yeah, I don't think people believe in the idea of hard work pays off. Because we live in a society where many things are given to them, just handed to them, free of charge. How do you think so many college kids get their loans taken care of? Governments just forgive them, and we end up paying for it.
Oh, that's so true in a sense, because I had, again, with my senses now granted, I do get Apple products for Christmas. I'm not shy to admit that I get Apple products for Christmas, but are they modern Apple products? Are they good Apple products? No, they're just stuff from my collection. They're not stuff I would depend on. For the actual goods phones I want to, like, I had to work so hard for my iPhone 14 Pro. I had to work so hard for my Apple Watch Series 7. I had to work really hard for, well, I actually got my AirPods for Christmas, so I didn't have to work hard for those. But
you're working really hard for your MacBook Pro you're saving up for.
I had to work hard. Heck, I even had to work pretty hard for this. And mind you, I was intending to work hard for a Mini.
So, yeah, the reason why I bring this up is because I'm in the stages where I am trying to transition on getting the heck out of the house. Though, again, housing prices is the number one thing delaying that right now. But, yeah, you guys think I actually have a lot of money? That is not true. I am very poor. I am actually very poor.
Yeah,
I just know how to manage the little money I have.
I don't have very much money either, but a lot of my classmates actually think I'm rich because I have so much nice tech, when in reality, especially now, I don't have nice tech because I'm rich. I have nice tech because I don't blow all my money. Like a lot of people I know buy stuff on Temu, all cheap crap on Temu all the time, and think it's the best, when in reality it's not. But this is the best. But I honestly have really nice technology, and I worked hard for it, so I feel like I deserve it. Mind you, I work with animal manure for a living.
Yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, I love my job right now, but it's not my dream job.
Yeah.
It's not the ultimate job I want to have, and the job I want, I am losing countless hours of sleep. I've gotten to a point where I can't get out of bed. I literally have to roll onto the floor and have the thud wake me up. I am so tired. Like, I used to average 6 hours, and I think I'm getting less than that now. I am so sleep deprived.
Yeah, I don't sleep all that much. I've had to wake up early these past few days. Woke up at 7 a.m. yesterday. Well, that was because my buddy woke me up. I was staying the night at his house, and his iPad alarm woke me up at 5 a.m. Then he shut that off. Then his brother woke us up at like 7 a.m., so I was just like, okay, well, I'm up now. And then I went to bed pretty early for me. And then I woke up. I got like 8 hours of sleep, and I felt dead tired. I felt more tired than I would have if I got 2 hours of sleep.
For me, I can't fall asleep. I can lay in bed for hours, and like this is after I finish a late night of editing or something. I'll go to bed and I'll lay there for hours and I still can't sleep.
Yeah.
It's the same. I have that exact same issue to the point where I have that exact same issue.
So yeah, you guys might have noticed my uploads have kind of slowed a little bit for the past couple weeks. That is because I am trying as hard as I can to catch up on sleep because I am just so frickin' exhausted.
Well, I don't blame you for that.
Yeah, I don't either.
So it's kind of one of the things that frustrates me the most about, compared to you guys, the amount of subscribers I have on my channels, it's minuscule. It's a fraction of what you guys have. And yeah, I'm up for how many hours editing for these channels, just trying to get things out, because this is the job I really want to have.
And speaking of dream jobs, there's a lot of dream jobs. And speaking of, it's easier to work for a dream job versus a job that you just kind of drudgery, like doing the cat litter, for example. I know once next summer, if I want to, I could probably get a part-time job working at some fast food restaurant or some gas station or something like that. Or a store. I could easily do that. But I'm probably not going to do that because that's not my dream job, and I would rather spend that time in the summer working towards my dream job, which is to run my own technology company.
Well, you'll need something to help you in the meantime. Yeah, and I think some of my videos are some of the simplest to make, except they require so much of my time because I want them to be. I want them to be.
I feel like vlog channels have a little bit simpler.
Yeah, the vlog channel is one of the easiest to edit because it's pretty much
generally like all the vlog channels. Your editing is just like you put more time into it.
Yeah, I do. I always, the reason why I spend hours late at night editing videos, even this podcast, I'll edit this podcast late at night and lose sleep over it because I want the show to be good. What's the point of watching if the quality of the content's not great?
I remember getting so many complaints before Alpha stepped in, before Alpha declared himself the editor of the show.
Yeah. Oh boy, aren't you guys glad that I just declared it?
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden like...
I gotta go in a couple minutes. Can we try?
Oh, we should go... Well, let's just go ahead and wrap this up then.
Yeah, we should definitely continue this like in text or something.
Yeah.
Alright, well, as always, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the iTunes Family Podcast, and as always, I'm Teddy Magger from the iTunes Fanboy.
I'm Tabby Cat.
My name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we are signing out for now. Goodbye, everybody, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace out, and sayonara.
See you guys later.